Hello, welcome to 9-6 solving quadratic equations by factoring. So we're going to do another physics problem. And notice that, just before I even read it, just notice the negative 16. That's because of the gravity of Earth. Okay, a group of friends are trying to keep a beanbag from touching the ground without using their hands. Okay, so in other words, they're playing hacky sack. Once the beanbag has been kicked, its height can be modeled by the height at time 0, they left that out, is negative 16t squared plus 14t plus 2. All right, it's not important that you know this to solve the problem, but it is important that you know this to understand the problem. The negative 16, like I said in the previous video, the diver video, comes from half of the acceleration due to gravity on Earth, which is 32 feet per second. The negative means that it's going down. Up is positive, down is negative. The half comes from calculus, so we'll kind of sneak that in on you. 14, no, we're talking feet in seconds, so that means that it was kicked upwards at a rate of 14 feet per second. That's what this means. And then the 2 tells me that when it was kicked, it was exactly 2 feet off the ground. So it's kind of interesting they were able to get these incredible numbers from this game of hacky sack. I wonder if they were chosen that way just because it was easy. All right, anyway, let's go. What's the time it takes the beanbag to reach the ground? When it reaches the ground, that tells me that h equals 0. The height of the ground is 0. That's your point of reference. And I know that in middle school science you talked about reference points. And the ground, let me put it this way, okay? The ground is what you define it as. So if these students were like at Highland Park and they were playing hacky sack in my classroom, they're on the second floor. So that would be above what would be the like grassy area in the commons area that's outside, okay? So what we're saying is like where their feet are standing. So that's what we mean, until it it hits the floor, it hits the ground. All right, so this tells me that I get 0, because the height is 0, equals negative 16 t squared plus 14t plus 2. All right, the first thing that I notice, I want to factor this, but the first thing I notice is that even, all these numbers are even. That means they're all multiples of 2. So I have a common factor of 2, try to make that better, and I can divide both sides by that common factor, and I get 0 equals negative 8t squared plus 7t plus 1. Negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8, 14 divided by 2 is 7, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I still have this negative 8 here, so I'm going to use my diamond method. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8, and I put my 7 here. What two numbers multiply to give negative 8 but add to give 7? I think that'd be my positive 8 and a negative 1. I'm going to make my multiplication chart. The negative 8t squared goes here. The 1 goes down in this corner, and then these two corners are these two that I just found, except being multiplied by t. So I get 8t and negative 1t. Now I'm going to factor. These two have 8 and t. And I'm going to factor out the negative. So I'm going to do negative 8t. That leaves the other t and a negative 1. What do these two have in common? They both have negative 1. Negative 1 times t is negative t, and negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So now I've got my factored form. Negative 8t subtract 1 times t subtract 1 equals 0. I'm kind of running out of room here at the bottom, so I'm going to move it up here. Negative 8t subtract 1 equals 0. Add 1. I get negative 8t equals positive 1. Divide by negative 8. And I get t equals negative 1/8 of a second. But remember, we don't have negative time. So we're going to throw that answer out. I get it from the math, but it doesn't make sense within the context of the problem. So I think the other one's going to be a little bit better. T subtract 1 equals 0, add 1, and I get t equals 1 second. And that makes more sense. It means it takes 1 second for it to hit the ground. All right, good luck with all those. Ask questions if you got them. Bye.